And good evening. It is 5 p.m. here on August 25th, and we are keeping our conversations going with the Newport City Council candidates, and we are getting right through them, and we have a few more to do. We have one more after this one at 11 a.m. tomorrow. We've invited all candidates to join us for this. We felt it was a good way for candidates to be able to connect with constituents, with their possible potential constituents, as well as voters. Obviously, going door to door is not possible this year, so this is one of the ways and one of the resources that we're providing for candidates to connect.
How's Absolutely.
That? All right. I just want to make sure you were there.
I am. I was just making a note to myself.
All right. Anything good?
Yeah. No. Actually, I wrote down Derek Grinkin.
All right. And that's good that you wrote it down because he is here. And Derek, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Pretty well, Derek.
There you go.
I'll spin this. Derek wants you to write his name down on September 8th at the primary, and not even write it down, but he just wants you to fill in the little box next to his name. Derek
number
is one of
on the ballot.
Number 3 out of 12 on the September 8th ballot. So let's start with who is Derek Grinkin, and why is he running for Newport City Council at Large?
Oh, good. Let's jump right into it. I'm Derek Grinkin. I've lived in Newport for the past 15 years. I've worked in the hospitality industry. I think this is my first summer where I will not be behind the bar somewhere. I've coached football at Salve for the past 8 years. Prior to that, I was coaching football in Woonsocket and working in the school system. I own a small property management business here in Newport. We do some disaster restoration, some cleaning, stuff like that. Just everything property management on the island here. I live here with my beautiful fiance, Juliana, and my son, Sailor, my 1-year-old son, Sailor.
Excellent. And Derek, go ahead.
Real quickly, because I'm a crazy sports fan. What do you coach at Salve? You said football?
Yeah, I coach the D-line. Prior to that, I was coaching linebackers. So.
Excellent. How's that season looking?
Oh, it's canceled. They canceled it a couple of weeks back. Sports, so.
No losses.
No, we're still gonna have practice though. Still get the kids together.
Well, that's interesting. So you'll practice, but no season at all.
No, they're saying we might be able to do a spring season, but the higher powers hold those cards. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, that follows pretty much a trend throughout all of college football. There's not going to be much this fall.
No, and a lot of the stipulations that they're asking, even for us in the practices, are kind of tough to. I mean, if you're a small school, it's tough to 10 kids at a time. We have 130 kids on the roster, so it's going to be.
What's your football background? Just for curiosity, what's your football background?
I'm from New Jersey originally, actually, so I played in New Jersey, and then I went up to Curry College up in Milton, Mass. Played for Steve Nelson, longtime Patriot. He was up there all my 4 years. So we played in the national tournament every year while I was up there, and it was just a good time.
So I have to ask you a crazy question.
We're never going to get this started because of.
Well, we are, but I want to find out where are you from in New Jersey?
Passaic County, Ringwood. It borders Bergen County. So we played the Bergen County schools, and we played a lot of Passaic County schools.
I was from Bergen County, so.
Where?
Westwood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, we ought to start, Brian. I don't know what you're doing. We should get this going.
Yeah. Derek, you've been here 15 years. You've been in the hospitality. You're a small business owner. You coach at school. What made you decide that you wanted to add something else to your plate with the City Council at Large seat?
Well, once I found out there was no football, I was like, what am I going to do? No. So honestly, I want to make a difference. Yeah. My son, to be honest, I saw that, and I saw the lack of, and we can just dive right into everything. I saw the lack of youth sports and everything like that going on in the city. And currently we rent, but we would love to stay here in the city. And I just see it getting tougher and tougher for people in our shoes or my shoes. So
But that falls into about 12 questions we've got.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, I want to start right off with, we're in the middle of what's canceled your season and everything is COVID-19. Wanted to get your impression how the state, how the city was handling it, and whether there were other things you would do to either enforce or change the way things have been done.
That's a good question. So I do think the city's done a pretty good job of enforcing some of the things. I mean, the signage, the volunteers, the mask brigade that was out there. I think that's a pretty cool thing. That Susan Taylor, she pushed that. That's awesome. I think that's cool. I really think it's hard to control people coming from out of state and doing what they want. So I do think the city's done a great job with that and getting creative. Anything I would do different? I mean, I don't think at this point there's much you could do different. I think they've done a great job.
And Derek, one of the things that you know from your experience in hospitality, as well as a small business owner, is that just about every business out there has taken a hit, as well as the city of Newport's bottom line. So what do we do to improve the city's economic recovery? During this, what can we do for businesses as well as revenue during this and maybe after the pandemic?
You know what? I mean, you got to look at it as a good thing almost, and take that as you may. But it's going to make people get creative. Let's get creative in what we're doing, what the restaurants are doing. I was talking to some restaurant owners, and they had the busiest 4th of July they've had in the past couple of years this year. So they're getting creative and doing different things, and I think that goes a long way. Going forward, I mean, for Newport, let's market our history. Let's market everything. Let's do some things for the city. Let's do some things for the restaurants, like close down the streets. Let's have a Broadway street fair for every part of the city. This is post Corona, obviously, but let's do things like that. And I mean, it's on the community too.
You feel that the businesses have received enough financial help from the state and from the federal government?
That's a tough question because I don't know what every person has received, if they've done everything that they were supposed to do to get money. So, I mean, again, I think you got to get creative, right? If you're a small business owner and you're not getting the money that you're doing, do something else. I mean, during the pandemic, we picked up the disinfectant fogging. There's ways to get creative and make more money and do different things and diverge from your main sense of business.
So one of the things that's not unique to Newport, but certainly is affecting everybody, is climate change. What's your belief in terms of climate change, in terms of the city of Newport, and how should the council respond to that?
So that's another good one. Climate change is a human race issue, I think. Actually, I know. It's a world issue. And that's, again, let's get creative, okay? Locally, what can we do? Get creative. Support small business or support businesses that are using renewable resources, Newport Solar, some things like that. Let's try to push those businesses that are coming up with the renewable resources and everything like that to come up with more stuff, to work harder on it. Let's give grants, initiatives, and everything to those kind of businesses to help with global warming. And I did just see something, I think it was your interview with Charlie Holder. He was talking about the 9 inches. 9 inches of the sea has risen 9 inches around Aquidneck Island, which is, if you can hold up a ruler with 9 inches, people will probably get a little more, realize the concept of that and how much that is. And there's just stuff, and we should look at other towns and what other people are doing and take a little bit from that and go from there.
Derek, I'm wondering, a lot through this, especially through COVID, people have said, oh, the city relies too heavily on tourism, the city relies too heavy on hospitality. Does Newport rely too heavily on the tourism hospitality industry? Do we have to look at alternative industries to develop?
and I guess I'm beating a dead horse here, but we have to get creative. Okay, we're not going to lose tourism and say, let's put tourism to bed and say we can't make any money off of that. We rely on that now. Let's keep riding that, but let's get creative in other facets. Let's get creative. I mean, we got the North End redevelopment coming up. Let's do different things to make money. There's so many ways you can go with this, you know. I mean, and that's just another thing. Like, let's market Newport in a different light and try to get some other businesses in here.
Marketing in what sense? Marketing Newport to other business and industry different than the tourism industry. Marketing to businesses that feed into the tourism industry, or marketing for the tourism industry.
Let's just market it all, right? So we have the tourism. We could stop probably marketing the Newport tourism aspect right now, and it really wouldn't hurt as much. Okay, but let's start marketing other fields and do other things. You know, let's bring in some tech companies. Let's bring in some different companies like that, some solar companies, anything that is going to diversify our economy.
So let me kind of take a left turn here, and I wanted to ask about. We've had a lot with Black Lives Matter, and I wanted to get your view on whether or not there's systemic racism in the city of Newport, and if so, how can the city council address that?
Oh, I'm going to go full circle on this one, and this is really going to get back to the sports thing. So I think across the country there is a problem with systematic racism. We've all seen it on TV, and just most recently what's happened in the news. I'm in a biracial relationship. Where I grew up is very, very biracial, and I've met and I've always kind of treated everyone the same. So I think those conversations start at home. Just getting back to racism, I think something like youth sports in the city, youth activities, brings people together and kind of roots out that evil.
Let me see here. Where am I? I am. We've talked about the North End a little bit, and there's a lot of land and development that are going to be available with the Pell Bridge ramp realignment. Carpianato's doing a lot of stuff. North End. You know, if 10 years from now, 2030, your little one is much older, is a teenager, maybe at that point. Now,
Wait, well, that doesn't compute.
Yeah, that one doesn't compute. My math is a little off there.
This is the second to last one. I understand.
I'm rounding up.
Yeah.
10 years. Yeah. So anyway, what do you think should, the best plan, the best project, the best idea, what would be the best for the city of Newport and its residents in the North End, do you think?
That's all on the residents, and I think the residents and the community should have a major say in everything like that. Obviously, the July 30th presentation was really good. I'm a big fan of open spaces, and beating a dead horse here, community meeting place, right? So when I think of that, it's some pavilions, open space for soccer field, baseball field, a rugby field, anything that's going to bring the community together post-COVID. I like the whole idea of a bike path. I like the where they're going to open the stream that runs down through Malbone. I actually live on Evard Street. I like that whole idea there. So just open spaces, and then we can talk mixed use for commercial and residential. Do I think Newport needs another Gap or Banana Republic? No, I don't. But there is some space for some more retail and mixed use. Actually, I'm going to throw my neighbor a plug here. Joe Mello, he does pretty well for himself over at Mello's Plumbing. And, I think going forward, that's going to be a lot of the space. So some commercial space that can store young entrepreneurs that want to get into plumbing, want to get into the electrical field, want to get into the contracting field, stuff like that.
You mentioned I think a pet subject of all of ours, and that's affordable housing. We talk about how do you make Newport more attractive for families, and how do you make it more affordable to live?
So, and this touches on a couple of the questions. So I think education, better schooling better schooling opportunities, more educational opportunities is gonna bring families here, keep them here. A lot of the people that I talk to who have young kids are getting out of Newport because of that. Why not? Let's flip the script and try to keep them in Newport because our schools are getting better. And this is all on the community. I've worked with a couple banks because we used to do some bank foreclosures, and they do a lockout for the first 2 weeks for investors and just let first-time home buyers in on things. So maybe some incentives like that. I'm not saying that's the answer, but let's get creative on some stuff.
You brought it up, and it is the question of the day, and we have found out that many candidates are running because of this question. Where do you land? In 10 years, let me try again with this 10 years joke.
When your kid is 43,
in 10 years, when your little one is heading off for school, and there's going to be a school bond question in November, and it will put an addition at Pell School as well as replace Rogers High School. Where do you fall on the school bond question that comes up in November? What do we do if the bond fails? What do we do to address school building needs in the city?
Okay, so going forward, let's not talk about it failing because I don't see it failing. But that'd be if it did fail, worst case scenario, that's a disservice to the future of Newport. As much as everyone wants to talk about how much they love Newport, that'd be a real disservice to the future of Newport. So I am all about it. I hope everyone that's watching this and everyone that is all about it. I heard some of the other the candidates talk about, what it's going to add, and it's basically pennies on the dollar for a lot of people in town. And you got to think that's a long-term investment. So I am all about that.
So Newport is like many of our Rhode Island communities, trends to be an older community. Many of the residents don't have a stake in it. They don't have kids in school. Older residents are often concerned about even adding pennies on the dollar. How do you convince them to vote for the school bond?
It's their legacy. It's their they can, when they're going somewhere, they're saying, their grandkids can say, hey, my grandmother, my grandfather was part of, getting that bond passed just because he was a voter or she was a voter. So that's how you got to kind of flip it to that. But it is, again, all for the future.
Derek, if I can talk to you, because as a dad for a moment, can you just walk us through it in your mind if you're moving to a community like Newport? You have an old, needs to be replaced school. You have a brand new school. And then you have a community where they send their kids to another community. What is that doing to your decision on where to move? How much are you paying attention to that? And why are you caring about it?
So let's circle this around. So I'm moving to a community and the schools aren't the best, or there is one school that's better than another. Anytime you have competition, it's a good thing. So I'm kind of all for having competition with some schools, but that's a real deterrent to a young parent. You want your kid to feel good, and you want your kid to, have every opportunity that they can as a parent. And a lot of the times, there's there's still some kids that are going to and doing great things out of it. Don't take away from all the employees, that everyone that works at Rogers and the whole school system. Can't take anything away from them. But I think it's almost, I'm not so integral on the mental part of this, but when you walk into a nice building, you feel good. When there's something else, I mean, when you buy a new house, you're just moving into that new house, you feel good about yourself, okay? Let's give the future of Newport every opportunity to feel good about themselves. Let's give those teachers every opportunity to just push out every kind of knowledge that they can on these students.
Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, Derek, I think you're the first candidate who's talked about youth sports.
Yeah.
You've talked about fields, open space, and fields, and soccer fields, and rugby fields.
Yep.
What makes youth sports important to the community beyond actually playing the game?
Okay, so first of all,
that's what you call a softball, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know if that I would call that a softball, but so it's a sense of pride for the community. You have people, where I grew up in New Jersey, there's people watching. They are so invested in the youth sports, and they are so behind it. You just get to meet everybody in the town, everybody in the community, and it, it's one thing that draws everyone together. Whether it be rugby, football, basketball, any sport that it is, soccer, any sport that it is, it draws people together. People from diverse backgrounds, people that normally would have never met each other. It draws them all together. For the students, for the youth, I mean, it's a microcosm of life. There's so many things that I think sports teach. It's this discipline, time management, and I can go on and on with that. So that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Derek, since you announced, what have you been hearing from people you talk to out there just around town, or what are you hearing from voters and needs and opportunities, as well as what they see and what they need?
Just creativity. I think that's the big thing. And then just a different voice, maybe some people are saying. I've heard things all over the gamut. So, I just try to keep it all positive and, maybe just, I'm just trying to keep it positive, and I feel like everybody's trying to keep it positive. And like I said, competition's a good thing. I think that draws out the best in people. So even if we don't win, there's ways, you can help the city.
Yeah. What do you, why do you think there's 19 candidates running for 7 seats in 2020?
That's a good question. I think people want to be part of a change. I think people are, one way or another, they're fed up, and people can make change, and I think that's just the timing of everything right now with the way our country is. I think everyone has an opportunity to make that change and make the difference that they want to see in the world. So,
Derek, if you lose the election, would you look to become involved in the city on any of the various boards and commissions that the city operates?
I definitely would. That's something I'm really big in. I'm part of Rhode Island Mentor. I'm part of alumni of 10 Men, where we go around and it's a coalition of men from all across the state that go around and talk about domestic violence and healthy masculinity. And, so I'm always trying to, if I don't win and we don't have the football season, like I don't think we are, I'm going to have a lot more time on my hands. And I'd like to get more involved with everything I can, not only for myself, but for the youth and for my son.
We've talked about a lot, and there are to-do lists. So, if elected, what do you think your top priorities are? It doesn't have to be 3, just top priorities. It could be your top 100. It could be your top 1.
Give us your top 100.
Yeah, give me my top 100. Yeah, I'll make it quick. Youth sports. No, just the school bond. diversifying the economy, trying to anything we can do for small businesses. Like, and I've said this numerous times today, let's get creative for small businesses. Let's do some partnerships with the city and small business. Small businesses, I got into my business and I really didn't know much about things and I didn't know where to turn. Let's put some things out there for people that want to start a small business, to help them even more. Let's do some more outreach with that. Just thinking of something, let's market, let the city market a small business that's in good standing for 6 months and has great reviews or something like that. There's so many ways that we can wrap things up and say, let's help small business. But small business and better educational opportunities are my top two, and then youth sports.
What are some of the biggest challenges you have as a business owner in Newport?
Man. So there's so much you can go into here. Just breaking through in that and then just the biggest issues. And I started this management company 4 years ago. So it's kind of tough, but we deal with a lot of Airbnb guests, stuff like that. And some of the issues that I've had, just somebody telling me, hey, it's better to go this angle than that angle, or your accounting, simple things that you don't think of as a business owner. You're good at one thing, maybe you're not so good at another thing, and the city could be there to help out on some things, I think.
Derek, if you were sitting in our seat, what's the one question you would ask your opponents?
What's their passion? What's their passion for this? What's their passion to be a candidate? And, I think you guys have done a great job on asking that. But yeah, where's your passion at? What do you want out of this?
One of the things that we have brought up is the way the city is run, and how the city is run is through a charter review. And, there's supposed to be one every 10 years. So, do you see anything in the way government is run in Newport? I'm going to give you some examples that you think is, might be time to explore a change, such as 4-year terms for city council members, term limits, a powerful mayor instead of a weak mayor, changing the name of mayor to president, 7 wards instead, or 7 at large instead of or 7 wards, things like that.
Yep. So I would think I like the whole at large, everyone be at large. So everyone's that's just competition for everybody. I don't think it waters it down. I think it just makes it more competitive, and more competitiveness brings out the better in everybody. It could also bring out the bad, but most of the time it brings out the better in everybody. I like 4-year terms. I think if you're doing a good job, and you want to try to get things rolling, 4 years is a good amount of time for you to get things changed and do some different things. I believe it was East Providence that changed, and they had the community go and say, hey, we want this way and this way. And I think, again, every politician should just be a puppet for the community, especially when it's small, in a small town.
Ryan had also asked about term limits.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
That's a good. I do feel to a certain extent there should be term limits. So if it's at 4 years, and you get 2 terms, and you can do a lot in 8 years. You can do a lot in 4 years. I think people underestimate what they can do in 4 years, even in a city like this. I think there's a lot you can do. And again, honestly, guys, that's for the community to decide. And I think those things get pushed out to the community, and they decide.
Let's see here. What's the biggest change you've seen since you got here in Newport 15 years ago? Good or bad? Or
Yes.
one of both?
What at both? Wow. The Airbnbs, that's, I remember thinking when I first moved up on Park Street, Upper Broadway there, you were way out there. Now it's a great spot to be. You can walk down to everything. Gould Street's really turned around. I know you lived on Gould Street. that it's all turned around over there, and I think that's pretty cool. The biggest change would just be the Airbnb. I mean, I think that's changed for every city. But
For good or bad?
Excuse me?
For good or bad?
I think a little of both. I think it brings some more people into the town. And again, and I probably say this too many times, but competition, right? So competition's a good thing. I think if people are doing the Airbnb in the right way, not disturbing their neighbors, doing every stipulation that the city has set forward, I feel like you're all right, and you can make some money with that, and that's a good thing. And it brings more people into town. And, you know, Dame Street and Broadway are going to thrive because of that. We bring more people in, they stay a little bit longer, they spend a little bit more money. Good for the economy.
Here's a tough one.
All right.
What do you love about your fiance? I mean, Newport, and why do you call it home?
Oh, there goes that softball again.
Yeah, you guys. I'm 2 for 2 on these, I guess, right? So what do I love about Newport? That's funny because I was just talking to someone. They asked me that. The small town feel. I mean, some of the best times I've had were behind the bar and just knowing every person at the bar. That goes a long way, and a lot of people have never experienced that. So I think that goes a long way. Just the small town feel. You know, it's a city, but with a small town feel. I love my fiance. She puts up with me, and she's.
You didn't have to answer that part.
Yeah, but I should. So
yeah, well, that's good. It keeps you on the right side of things.
Yeah.
That's it. Derek, are there any issues, things that are on your minds that you're concerned about? Anything else that we did not hit on?
No, I think you guys are doing a great job, and we covered pretty much everything that I can think of, and I know you guys have been going at this for a long time. So, you know, again, affordable housing, youth sports, better educational opportunities. I think those are all things that need to come to the forefront. If I win or whoever wins, you know, I think city council needs to just work together on everything, work with the community, and again, just be a voice for the community.
Frank, anything else on your end?
No, Derek, I think it's great. I'd love to always hear from another guy from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm outnumbered. How about some contact information, Derek?
Yeah.
That's Derek Grinkin. Derek for Newport is going to be the website. I sent you guys. Did you guys get my headshot there? So we got all that. Yeah, that's my personal email. So anyone can get a hold of me at any time. I would love to talk to anybody if anyone has any questions. In my line of work, I'm on the phone 24 hours a day. So please feel free to reach out. Excellent. And Derek will be on the September 8th primary, and voting is already underway, as I talked about earlier today. Town halls, city halls across the state are already open for early in-person voting. Of course, you could also do a mail ballot. So make sure you participate in the September 8th primary, either before or on September 8th, not after. So you got to do it in the next couple of weeks here, 2 weeks from today. It came up fast, huh? Yeah. Probably not fast for you guys because you guys have been so busy. So, you know, I've enjoyed these conversations, and I've enjoyed taking as much time as candidates want, and as wherever the conversation. It's like writing a book or a story on the go. So yeah, and I literally have tipped my hat off to every person that's a candidate that's putting themselves out there for this. I mean, you're putting yourself out there in front of a lot of people, and it's a pretty cool thing to be doing at a time like this. Well, it's just really important for people to have as much information they have when they go to vote, and this is a great way that they can take a look at the candidates. They can find the people that they like, that they share solutions with, that raise issues that are important to them. I've said this several times, that I view elections as an opportunity for people to talk about ideas, and for the candidates to absorb them, whether they're their own ideas or somebody else's. At the end of the day, to take the best of what's come out in the campaign, and then use it for the betterment of the community. Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? The community and the future. And if you could be a part of that, I think you're leading a successful life.
Just by being, and I think every single candidate has done this, just by talking about issues. I mentioned before that you were the first one that I think brought up youth sports. I think that's great to have on the table. There are others who have brought up other things that are great things to have on the table, and that dialogue begins and people start thinking about things, start thinking about the city. I think it's just incredibly important, I tip my cap to every single candidate because I think they've all brought up things that have been unique and important to them, and therefore it's important to a lot of people in the city. And where it heads, if there are smart people who get in, then they'll take a look at all that stuff, and it's here. You can pick it up off of the videos, can replay them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, and it's going to be here for a long time. So whoever wins has 2 years to come back and look at all your guys' videos and come up with ideas.
Yeah.
So,
Oh boy, I can see it now. Yes. Yeah, should have got them sponsored by some tequila company.
There you go.
Anyway,
single malt. I was thinking, but what do you know?
All right,
Oh,
there you go.
Nice.
All right, Derek. Well, we appreciate it, and we will get this up on the website and your contact information. Hopefully, people will reach out if they have any questions. Again, Derek is on September 8th primary. Everybody in Newport has a reason to go to the ballot before or on September 8th to vote in the primary. So, very best of luck, Derek.
Thanks,
Derek,
guys.
thank you.
Thank you guys
Derek.
for all your time. Great.
All right, you got it, and. There we are, Derek Grinkin. Again, his contact information will be in this story, and you can also rewatch this video if you missed anything.
It's also given us his profile, which is up on the website or will be up on the website.
Will be. I haven't had a minute today.
Yeah, and that'll have his contact information as well. So, as with all the candidates, I like the way that it's displayed, Ryan. I think it's good. I think people can have an opportunity to read the profiles. They have an opportunity to watch the video. So it's good. And just real quickly, we should talk about what's upcoming. We've got one more tomorrow morning.
And then we're going to do all 18 Middletown Town Council candidates on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, right. You have the gun over there. What I like is it's interesting as we go along with this, and I think people are seeing how valuable this is. We're starting to hear some of those areas that are outside of Newport, people who see it as valuable and want to participate. So we'll have some of those. We're gonna first up will be the state rep
District 74. Rick Lombardi, Rick Lombardi will be joining us tomorrow at 1 p.m. He is a former Middletown. Actually, he's a current Middletown Town Council member, and he is running for a representative seat. And so we will chat with him tomorrow at 1, and then we are lining up everything down the line. If it matters in the primary, we're going to try to fit it in here. We did a couple extra city council candidates that weren't part of the primary just to get them all looped in on record.
Yep.
And now we're really going to focus in on the September 8th primary, which is 2 weeks away from today. And then after the primary, we will start chatting with Newport City Council candidates. Middletown Town Council candidates because they do not have a primary, and Portsmouth, and a whole bunch of othave races. We also will be chatting with congressional candidates as well. So we have heard from a Democrat who is in a primary in District 2, so we'll be chatting with him very soon. So lots of races. If you are a candidate and want to participate, Ryan at whatsupnewp.com. And if you know a candidate and think they should participate, let them know. We are here. And if you are a business owner and want to sponsor this series, Ryan at whatsupnewp.com. All right. How's that, Frank?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, we will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. with the last city council candidate, Kevin Mashad, who is running for at-large. All right, Frank, we will see you tomorrow.
See you then.
All right. On behalf of Frank Prosnitz and myself, I want to thank Derek for participating in our series. If you missed any portion of Derek's conversation with us, you can watch it on our website, replay it at any time. You can also catch a video of all of the candidates right there. We have just one more, We have done 17 of them, I believe, and we will have one more tomorrow, and then we will be turning our direction on other races. So I want to thank you for watching, and I appreciate it. Visit whatsupnewp.com for the very latest.